Pedro Garcia, talking about snatch progression. Today's date is October 5th. I'm going to break it down to different positions, different progressions for the snatch, starting with the air squat and then working our way from the top down. Yeah, we're good. All right, cool. All right, so first things first, assessment. We're gonna look at the air squat assessment. So I'm gonna have the athlete go and get in stance. Stance, if you notice, no more than shoulder width apart. So no more than shoulder width apart. Any wider than that, then it takes a little bit longer to break a little parallel. So you wanna make sure they go no wider than their shoulders, right? Toes slightly flared out. Toes slightly flared out. As it starts to descend, first movement of the hips should be back and down. Right, back and down, keeping his chest up, keeping his back straight. Right, ready? So hands up in the air and just sit back and down. Hips go over to the parallel, make sure the hips break the crease of the knees, and then coming right back to full extension. Okay? Again, same thing one more time, keeping the chest up, nice flat back, full squat at the bottom. Weight evenly distributed between both feet, or between evenly distributed off the feet, not so much on the heels, but you want to kind of keep it in the middle, kind of keep it on the balls of the feet. Again, one more time, keeping your chest up, sitting back and down, full squat at the bottom, and coming right back up to full extension. Same thing, right? So feet are ankle hips, right? Shoulder width apart, sit back and down, right? Making sure evenly distribute between the weight evenly distribute between the feet, and coming right back up to full extension. All right, next, starting with our snatch progressions. It's a 5-stage progression, right? First stage being the overhead squat. So we got a PVC pipe here, so you can start with the barbell, light barbell, technique barbell, 15 pounds to 35 pounds, depending on the athlete. We'll go with the PVC pipe just for this demonstration. So with finding the hand placement, you want to make sure the PVC pipe is in line with the hips, so kind of at the waistband, kind of at the elastic part of the pants or the shorts. Hands, make sure you got a full grip on the hands, right? We can turn the knuckles down to the ground. Arms are relaxed, shoulders are back, right? PVC pipe is at the hips, right where it should be. You can teach the hook grip, right? Where the hook grip is where you bring the thumb over the top or over the bar and then bring the fingers over the top. For this demonstration, we'll just go with the standard grip. Usually when you have a weighted barbell, then that's when we start to teach the hook grip and the purpose of the hook grip and why we use it. So found our hand placement now, so now we're going to turn it sideways. We'll go ahead and find our feet plate placement, similar to your air squat. Sometimes you go a little bit wider, depending on the mobility of the athlete, depending on how their erratic position and their motion of the hips. Just depends on the athlete in general. So once we find our grip, we'll take it overhead, right? Full extension to the top, okay? You really want to push that PVC pipe, push that barbell as high as you can. It's not so much holding the bar above your head. You also want to drive those shoulders, so that way the shoulders and the barbell are in line with the spine, and they're not going further back behind the shoulder blades, and they're not forward, right? Over the ears, over the nose, okay? So right over the shoulders, so that way it stays in line with the spine. Similar to air squat, first initial movement is back and down. Ready? Sit back and down. Right, breaking a piece of the parrot, breaking a piece of the hips. Still maintaining that full extension at the top, shoulder is shrugged, back is tight, right, scapulars are tight, chest is up, tight midline at the bottom, and then stand up, back up to full extension. Again, first initial movement is back and down, right, chest is up, tight belly, squeezing that midline, squeezing those shoulder blades, and continuing to press up on that barbell and the PVC pipe, and then stand back. Awesome, go through this camera. Same thing, right? Same thing from the front now. Sit back and down, right? Squeeze at the top. There's no bend in the elbows. Arms are locked out, right? Bar stays center of mass, right? Weights even distribute between the feet, and then right back up to the full extension. Good, relax. So that's the overhead squat. So working our way from the top down. So we'll go for the bottom, which is our start position, also known as a setup position, right? Which is usually about mid-shin, okay? This right here would mean that the weights are on the ground. So if you have a standard barbell plate, bump plate, the weights will be taken off the floor, so that would be your standard position. Right, shoulders are back, nice flat back. Hips tend to be a little bit above the knees, right? Some weightlifters like to go below the knees depending on the experience of the weightlifter. It's more ideal to start either right at the knees or right above it. So bar should be about center of the foot, so right at the tongue of the shoelaces. That is your starting position, okay? From there, when we say lift off, right, we go to the knees, okay? Back angles stays the same, right? Starting the path to the barbell starts with this movement of the legs, right? So going back down, right, keeping the hips up a little bit higher, right? And lift, going to the knees, back angle again stays the same, right? All the way should be on the balls of the feet, pressing the ground away from the body. Starting the movement of the bar with the legs first. Good, relax, good, relax. So again, go to the starting position. You stay silent. Ready? Back to the setup. Right, starting position. Nice back angle. Hips are up and back. Right, arms are relaxed. We got the ball in the center of the foot. Start with the lift off. Right, stop at the knees. Okay, keeping that same, maintain that same back angle throughout the first initial pull. Good and relax. All right, so from there, we'll take it to the power position. Generally, the power position is anywhere between the top of the kneecaps to the mid-thigh, right? So we'll start from the mid-thigh for this one, for this demonstration, right? From here, all I'm gonna ask him to do is come on his toes and then shrug his shoulders into his ears. So we're gonna mimic pushing off the ground, right? Using our legs as we go up, drive those shoulders into your ears and just hold it there. Ready? And go. All right, shrug your shoulders into ears and then back down, okay? So movement starts with the legs, again, right? Initial bar pass starts with the movement of the legs, showing it into the ears, good, and relax. Keeping that bar close to the body, keeping it tight to the hips, not letting it get away from you anytime throughout the movement. Second one, we're going same position, same starting position, but now I'm gonna have them bend those elbows at the top of the pool. Ready? And go. Right, shrug and then pull it. Again, once you get to the top, you can relax. Ready? And go, pull and then relax. Good. On the elbows, right, he's keeping it up nice and high. Again, keeping that bar pad close to the body. He's not swinging it. He's not throwing it out in front of him. He's keeping it close, tight to the chest. Again, one more time. Ready, and go. Elbows up nice and high and on his toes. Good and relaxed. From there, we're going to a power snatch from the hang position, right? So he's gonna do all that together, okay? He's gotta move his feet though, so as soon as he lifts his toes off the ground, he's gotta shift his feet into that squat stance that we talked about at the beginning, as he brings that bar overhead, as he drops down to that power position. Ready? Start from mid-thigh, ready, and go. Good, again, one more time, keeping it close, he's not swinging it on in front. He's adding the pull, right shoulders, elbows, and then dropping into that power position. Ready, go. Good. Facing the camera. So go ahead and again watch his feet as he comes off his toes. He lands and shifts his feet into that spot position. Ready, go. And then he catches in that power position at the bottom. Good and relax. So next, we took it from the hang, right, which is at mid-thigh. Now we're taking it to below the knees. So we're gonna work our way back down to the ground. So we start from below the knees. Same thing, same position, right? All I'm gonna ask him to do is bring his shoulders up, right? Not his elbows, just come on his toes and bring his shoulders up. Ready, go. Right, show your shoulders again one more time. From below the knees, ready, go. Good, one more, last one, and go. Good. Now we're gonna bring the elbows back into it, right? So staying with the same concept, showing the shoulders up. Now we have the elbows at the end. Ready? From below the knees, and go. Good, bring it nice and high, keeping it close to the body. Go. Good, one more, last one, and go. Good, and relax. Now from there, we're going power snatch, same thing from below the knees, just adding it all together, right? External rotation as he goes overhead, but he keeps it tight as he drops down into that power position. Ready? From below the knees and go. Good. Again, remember, drop your ground. Ready? And go. Good. Power. Don't land this fight. So he's going to stay in the power position for right now. Ready? Same thing. Still staying with the power snatch. Go. Right. There you go. And relax. So now we'll move on to the full snatch portion. Okay, so from the power snatch, depending on the technique of the athlete, depending on the efficiency of the movement, mobility, just the availability of the movement for the athlete, it all depends on how we progress into that full snatch. So one progression would be taking it to a power snatch and then finishing with an overhead squat, right? Catching that power position and then just kind of riding it down into that overhead and then standing up at the top, okay? So again, it just depends on the ability of the athlete, the fitness level of the athlete, the mobility that they have, and then how well they can get into that overhead squat position at the bottom. So again, we'll start from mid-shin, right? We're taking it from the floor now. So from your setup, from your starting position, you'll go ahead and power snatch, and when you catch in that power position, just kind of slowly ride it down into that overhead squat. Ready? And go. Power, and then slowly rides it down into that overhead squat. Good and relax. Another way you can do it, sometimes I'll just have my athlete do this one with the power, and then you kind of adjust and go. Sometimes I have my athletes catch in a power position, ready to go. Right, and then I'll let them kind of stand up, and then fix themselves, and then go into that overhead squat. And slowly they'll progress little by little into eventually gelling it all together, catching the full squat at the bottom. So again, let's go back to the regular power snatch and then right down slowly. So again, we'll catch the power snatch, right? And from there, slowly ride it down into that overhead squat, and then coming right back up to the full extension. Okay? Lastly, we'll go ahead and put it all together now for the full movement, so the full snatch, right? There's no pause in the power position anymore. As soon as he comes up with that barbell, he's got to pull himself down into that overhead squat position to complete the movement as a whole. Ready? So from starting position, mid-shin, shoulder to back, chest is up. Again, that back angle stays the same throughout the movement. Ready, and go. Yeah. catching a full squat at the bottom. Again, he's getting that full extent to the top, shrugging his shoulders, pulling those elbows, and pulling himself into that bottom position as he receives the barbell overhead. Ready, and go. Good, and relax. That is your snatch progression.